Hello Stamperia friends, Antonis Tzanidakis here. We're back for another video with Antonis Tzanidakis series, Vagabond. And how are you? How are you today? We're going to work again on a journal page, but this time we're going to use the beautiful collection, is my collection, Song of the Seas with Farrell Taylor, collaboration with Farrell from Australia. So you can see both our names here. She put basically the most of the designs and everything. It was her idea, and then I just put some little bit details to make it a little bit more vintage. Very happy to use this today, and let's see what we are going to do. I'm going to open the pack. That's beautiful papers. You can see the background from this collection is just stunning. So what we're going to use, I already know what I want. So I'm going to cut off, what is the page I like? Oh man, this one of course. I just love this page, and I'm going to use also, maybe this one, maybe not. I think I'm going to use also this one, or I'm going to work with something with bigger contrast, maybe this one. But I think these two pages, they just match together perfect. And let's go and start with our journal. As you can see from other things, this is from Crafters Hotspot. Don't forget that I have my website, craftershotspot.com. If you want, you can go there, subscribe, and every Friday we upload a new video, new techniques, new ideas. And this is also another layout, our journal page I did the last time. I don't know, probably this video is already up while you're watching this one today. And now let's work on a new page very beautifully. And don't forget guys, also if you want to see more of my creations and just in general like follow up of new collections and what's going on, we have also the presentation of the new collection coming very soon. I don't know, depends on what time you're gonna watch this video. Follow me on Instagram, Antonis Tzanidakis, just my name all together. You can see it also on your screen. So what we're gonna do now, I'm going first of all to cut these pieces exactly the size of the book. So how are you gonna do that, of the journal? I'm always find the position, and then I'm gonna use the size, the side of my pencil, and you can see you get the line. And I'm gonna do also the same with this one. I'm gonna just go here, find exactly the position, and then I'm gonna just, oh, maybe I go a little bit more up. I would be able to see that. And then I will go and mark here. So now I'm gonna use my guillotine, as always, and cut this paper the size I want. Very simple. Use your trimmer or your guillotine and just, you know, let's go and cut the pages. Sometimes maybe we'll cut a little bit smaller, doesn't really matter, it's not a big deal. We can always adjust, and we can always do things to make everything fit perfectly. Oh, okay, I cut this. Look what happened. This is what I'm talking about, guys. I cut this wrong. Can happen. I don't know. Probably I follow wrong line. Doesn't matter. I'm going to add something on top of there from my pieces here. Why not? It's just, you know, like another piece that we can just add it there, and it's gonna mix all together. So right now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my mix. I'm going to use, my craft glue, and I'm going to stick down the pieces. It's very important to understand that you have to use glue all over the paper. It's very important because later we're going to use the mixed media glue to seal the paper. So if we don't have enough glue underneath on the spots that we don't have glue, you're gonna get some bubbles that eventually they're gonna get flat again, because the paper, when it gets wet, stretch out but then when it gets dry again, 100% stretch in. So it's not a big deal, but it's good if you have enough glue underneath. Now with this one, I'm not going to stick it yet. We're gonna do something first, but let me add also this paper here. I think it fits perfect. Let me add a little bit glue. And let me add it. Ah, that goes there exactly. Look at that. Very nice. Now about this paper, before I do anything, I'm going to use this half plexiglass, half Christmas ball. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to find the center of the paper and I'm going to mark with my pencil very well. And then I'm going to cut the circle, and I'm gonna take the circle and I'm going to glue down the paper. But before I glue down the paper, I'm gonna paint everything here. From that side, I'm gonna paint it with a black and matte Superbase. This is a very nice product from Stamperia. Basically, you just add a little bit and then you just go and paint everything. Doesn't need to be perfect, just a thin layer, and is enough for our project. Now the thing is, because we are going to stick the paper on top of the black, you understand that cannot be rice paper, because the rice paper, it's very translucent, kind of transparent, semi-transparent, so you will be able to see the black underneath and you're gonna lose the colors from the rice paper, but you can use scrapbook paper. The scrapbook papers are thick enough so you can just stick them in any kind of like surface you have, like doesn't matter if it's dark or black or whatever. Now, after we do that, I'm going off camera to cut with my scissors the circle, take it off, we don't need it, and I'm going to stick this paper on the black, but we're gonna have here the circle, and I'm going to dry, of course. Okay, let's do this off camera and see you very soon. And you can see that I already cut my circle of the paper using the crystal half ball. I mean, it's up to you. You can use anything that's circle. It's up to you how big it wants to be. It doesn't need to be perfect. But of course, you know, be sure that you have some, you know, like you don't want this one to be very thin because it's gonna break. Now, we already paint with a black and matte Superbase from Stamperia. We dry and then we have this paper. Before we stick down the paper, I'm going to work on my surface here, that's why we painted black, with a yellow paste. Now we have 4 different colors, yellow paste from Stamperia. You can see here we have the purple, the blue, the gold and the green. This is the kit that you can purchase like this all together, and then we have the big containers that we sell them separately. Now, what we're going to do, I don't know which colors to use, probably the blue for sure. I love the blue. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the blue with my palette knife and I'm going to add a layer of blue here in the middle on top of the black. It's very important, keep the palette knife flat so you get better texture. I'm trying to apply, so when I stick down the paper, I can see only the yellow paste. Now, after I put my blue, maybe we can add a little bit from the purple. Why not? Would just look nice, just to have 2 different colors laying around. After we apply the two different colors. Of course, you can add as many colors you want, but I just add two colors. Before we dry, I'm going to take the wood grain tool, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to create the texture. Of course, it's not easy because this time, in previous videos, we have done it with acrylic paints. It's much easier because the paint flows through the grains. Now here we have a paste. It's kind of difficult, but it kind of want to give this texture. The only thing you have to do, just go very, 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 very lightly. It's not gonna be perfect, but doesn't need to be perfect. We just need that, that kind of like texture. It's not gonna be perfect, but still you can see something when it's dry. Okay, instead of just being there, the paste being there, you know, we're gonna get just a little bit more interesting, get this wood grain texture, and then we're going to dry. I'm gonna do that off camera, and we're gonna be back with the result. And you can see after I dry how nice and beautiful you can see in the light, like the blue and the purple. It's very funny how, you know, how it changed the color, depends how you look at it. Here it was a little bit thicker. It's gonna take some time to dry, but anyway, when we cover and the things I'm going to do, it's gonna change everything. So first of all, before I stick down this paper, I want to use my stencil from this collection. That's very beautiful stencil, and I think it's gonna go and dry, and then put the paper on top. So you can see, as soon as you put the paper, you cover all the things, and you can still see the stencil inside. That's very beautiful. Let's go and dry off camera, and then we're back. And we already dry the paste. Looks very cool. Now it's time to start placing the paper on top. And then we are going to seal the paper so we can just play around with colors and things. So first of all, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use foam tape to glue this paper down, because besides the glue, like of course I'm going to use some glue, I'm going to put only foam tape in the four corners, because I want this paper to be just kind of like a little bit up. I don't want to stick flat, so if I use the foam tape on the sides, and then I use glue, my craft glue, on these areas, just it's gonna be a little bit more popped up in the corners, and this is what I want to achieve. Of course, I can put glue a little bit here, around the edges, and then I have just to peel off the tape. Let's see how it's gonna look. Hopefully it's gonna look good. Let's see, sometimes it's so hard to take the tapes off. I don't know if you're having the same problem with me, but I think it depends on the tape also. Anyway, so after we do that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to find my position. I decide to put this 100% to match here, and then basically the foam tape just give me that bit of, you know, like space here, so I can just play a little bit with the things. And then you see, before I didn't cut this, maybe we can use it like this. We'll see what we're gonna do. So by doing that, now the only thing I have to do is to protect my papers, and I'm going to use mixed media glue and my soft brush, and I'm going to do 2 layers over all the papers just to be sure that they are protected, and then I'm going to play with the vintage patinas to give some colors. So let's go do that off camera. Let's start, you know, adding the glue. It's very simple, just smooth moves up and down, mixed media glue, thin layer everywhere. We don't need to do anything inside here. You don't need to seal it, but we want the papers to be sealed. 2 thin layers with mixed media glue, one layer, we dry, and then we do a second layer. Okay, let's do that, and then we're back. And while I was doing my mixed media glue and dry to seal the papers, I just realized that why not just use Crackle paste transparent to add some more texture before I play with my vintage patinas. So basically, you just go all around and just add some of the Crackle paste, this transparent. When it crackles, you're not going to be able to see the crackles, but of course, when we use the vintage patina and everything, it's going to look really cool, and you're gonna get more texture. Anyway, so pretty much here and there, let's go and dry the Crackle paste. Be careful, don't be very close to the paste because it's going to bubble. Keep some distance with a heat gun, and let's dry, and then we're back to play with the vintage patinas. And you can see that the Crackle paste is already dry. Of course, you'll not be able to see the crackles very good because it's transparent. Some of the areas are still thick. You can see that the paste haven't dried 100%, but still you can work because when you touch it, it's dry, but just need time to become clear. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to work with the vintage patinas. This is my product in collaboration with Stamperia, and I'm going to use the turquoise and the rust because I just want, to make everything look a little bit more vintage and more rusty, even the shiny part here. So let's go and do that. I'm gonna start with the turquoise. The only thing you have to do, just put a little bit of the patina down there and then go with your finger and start blending on top of the Crackle. You will see how beautiful everything blends. And of course, we have to go here to change the color of the stencil. The key of that is just go and blend very, very, very well. If you don't like something, it's very simple, then you just go and clean it with baby wipe, but you have to do that before you dry. If you dry with a heat gun, you kind of like set in the patina, so you cannot remove it, but as soon you go immediately after you apply, you can just remove anything you don't like. So I'm gonna rub it very well, it's very important. The turquoise gives this nice patina look. And from here I'm just focusing mostly on top of the stencil, of the Crackle paste. And a little bit around the edges. You can see that's all about blending. Let me show you how it looks, and then we're going to use the rust. So you can see how beautifully now you can see the crackles and everything. You can see, I think, in the camera very nicely. And I add also a little bit inside here. So it kind of like blends everything, because I like to use on everything pretty much to make everything vintage. Of course, you can take the baby wipe if you want and just remove a little bit. Now you cannot do it later. After you use the heat gun, you set it in, you cannot remove it. But right now, it's very easy. Now, after that, I'm going to use the other color, the rust. That's darker color. That's why I use the turquoise first. We want just to add a little bit of rust on top of the turquoise. That's gonna help a lot with the texture. As always, be sure that you really blend. This is the most important. Just blend very, very well. And that's why also we use mixed media glue to protect the papers, because I knew that we're going to work with the patinas on top, so I wanted everything to be protected and be able to work with the patinas, so we make everything more vintage. Of course, I told you, if something you don't like, you can always blend also with baby wipe, but has to be very fast. I mean, you can take the patina, add a little bit on your project, take with your finger, just go and add, but you are going, if you want to blend, you blend now, okay, with the baby wipe. Let me add a little bit also here. And also don't put too much patina on your craft mat, you just need a little bit. Because as you can see, it's a lot of blending. With your finger, just don't use too much, always just a little bit. Very nice. Now I can go and blend a little bit more if I feel that I have too much. And then I have to dry. Now, after you dry, everything is set in, you cannot remove it, especially when it dries 100%. And this is the good thing with the patinas, is a water-based product. You can do something very beautiful and make everything vintage. We have 5 different colors: dark blue, gray, turquoise, rust, and white. I think you cannot go wrong with these patinas. And they're water-based, very easy to clean your hands, your craft mat, and gives very nice rusty look on the project. Now, after I dry, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my permanent ink and the blending tool, of course, from Stamperia and Vicky Papayuan. I love this blending tool. And I have this stencil from the collection, and I'm going to add a few details, not many, but just a few details on the project, just to make everything more interesting. I think I want to use this part there. So using the blending tool, find your position, be careful to not move the stencil, and then go through the stencil to get the image. Very cool. And then I fill maybe just a little bit down here. I think that looks very cool, to tell you the truth. And then maybe I can add just a little bit there. Of course, if you go with your finger, you can just make everything a little bit more faded. It's up to you what you want. You can see how nice everything blends. With a baby wipe, you can remove, even though it's permanent, you can remove very fast if you want. Just right now, just make everything a little bit more, more faded. And it's funny that you can use like any part of the stencil, and you can just go over it and just create very nice. You see, for example, I did a mistake. I did it very fast. It's not a problem. Just go very fast, dry. Take a paper towel or a towel, and just clean the stencil, and then you just go over it. So you can add a little bit there. Very, very, very nice. I just like this stencil, but I like this part. So I kind of like to just make a border. You can see how nicely. And if I don't like something, I will just go with baby wipe. Maybe I will go very lightly, and I will just make it be on the background. You see the difference? You can see it here more on the camera. Like when I go very lightly with baby wipe, look how it looks. It's mostly like on the background, and then this is the main thing here, right? So very good. I think I have something there. Maybe I could just go and put the sea adventure. No. Oh, maybe I put like the little horse here. I love this sea creature. I don't know, this is like a sea creature with, but I can do that more dark, I guess. Let's see how this looks. I'm not sure, guys. I don't like it so much. I think it's too much. too busy. So as I said, baby wipe, just remove. And you still have the one before. Okay, so let's dry a little bit the area here very fast. I'm not gonna cut you off, we're gonna stay together. I add my stencil, just need to dry a little bit the ink. Maybe, to tell you the truth, I was just thinking maybe I can add like a pipe, because I have a pipe here, a pipe there, and I just kind of like want to add another pipe here, kind of match the pipe. So it kind of blends everything, very nice. So this one, and this one is very, very, very cool, I think. And then let's dry. As you can see, I created the project with you. It's not something that I have created before and I just reproduce it. So I think it's much fun. You can see the process, how I think. Now the reason I put here a little stencil like the pipe is because I want to have like this balance. I think looks very, 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 very cool. And we're ready for now. You can see how beautiful everything blends. And you can see also the yellow paste. I love the yellow paste, but of course, me, I just did. Actually, this turns very good here when the paste wasn't dry with the patinas. But anyway, this is our beautiful layout so far. I don't know why I have this. This is so funny here, but I still have it. So I have a few things I want to do. I want to use the rub-ons from this collection, and I want to use also the decorative chip. I think this is going to look very cool in the project. And then we have the die cuts just to create something beautiful inside here. Okay, so let's go and do that. I'm going to start with the rub-ons. I have a few ideas what I want to use. I want first to use my scissors, and I'm going to cut the spider web. I think that looks very cool, and I think also this very rusty ladder is gonna look also cool in the project. And I think we're done with this one. And then from here, I want to use the steering wheel, the boat steering wheel. I think is gonna look really cool. And maybe just to make it a little bit more vintage, I'm gonna use and more like Gothic, I'm gonna use this mask. That's a very cool one. So cool. Anyway, so how we're gonna do that? It's very simple. As always, the rub-ons, they work very easy, and it's very easy to place them. Take off the plastic, you just go there and you start rubbing the area you want to get. So you rub it and then you get the result. Got a little bit there. I have some left over. Maybe I can just put down here. Got some spider web, and then I have the lantern, but I think the lantern. Let's see where I'm gonna put it. I think we're gonna add the mask down here. Yes, that's perfect. So I'm gonna go with the mask. Again, as I have said in other videos, if you don't want to, or if you don't have this tool, you can use any hard surface to just, you know, like make the rub-on work. It's very easy. You can use the back of your scissors, the back of your brush, whatever you want. Okay, that's very beautiful. And then we have the steering wheel that I think we can add up there. And then here in this corner, I'm gonna add the rusty lantern. I think kind of match a lot the, let me find the position though, because we want to be, this is going to be very rusty. I cannot find the position. I kind of like take off the, this is going to be very vintage, doesn't matter. kind of blended. Okay, this is not bad. Anything is blended is always good. I just love blending the things. This is very important in mixed media and in general, like everything is about blend. And we got this part there, and maybe I can add this part down here. This is the good thing that you can use also one part here and one part there. It kind of like match. Okay, so this is about the rub-ons, and now let's go clean always. I'm a messy crafter, but I started getting very clean lately. So I'm going to use the decorative chips, and I want to use this beautiful, beautiful wave. I just feel that if we have this wave inside here, it's gonna look so cool. So I'm gonna take a little bit my scissors, I'm gonna cut, and then I'm gonna just squeeze inside here. The waves, I think, looks very cool. And now it's time to use the die cuts. Now let's see what we have. Let me clean a little bit. I think we're very cool. And let's see what we have with the die cuts. This collection, amazing collection, me and Farrell Taylor from Australia, has so many elements, like 2 or 3 different packs of die cuts. We have a lot of packs of ephemera, so many different things that you can use to create this beautiful project, and in general any kind of project you want. So I think we cannot go very thick here, because as you know, we do an art journal page, so we cannot go like very dimensional, but I think we can find some very beautiful elements just to add in our project. You see how beautiful things we have, how many beautiful things we can use in your projects. Very, very nice. Look at that. That will be very cool. A lot of beautiful designs. Anyway, I think I'm okay with these things. I really love them. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my permanent ink, and I'm going to use my blending tool, and I'm going to distress everything so it looks more vintage and more cool. Very nice. And I think also that it really matches the vibe. You know, sometimes you have to be very careful. If you use a lot of things, a lot of elements, a lot of media, just be careful to not look too much. You know, sometimes less is more, and depends how you place the things. But I feel for this kind of project, we are very cool so far. We don't need anything else. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the craft glue, and I'm going to place. You can see before I made the rub on there. It didn't look cool. I kind of like destroyed, so who knew? Like afterwards, I just took the same design on a die cut and I just placed it there. So this one, I feel we need to use also foam tape. So I'm gonna use my foam tape to just go and stick it down. I think it's better. I wish we could go more dimensional, but you know, our journal page. So Sarvam, that was the first Sarvam for today. You know, guys, that I don't speak very good English. So I mean, I speak good English, but I don't have good accent. So, but I think you're used to it already. And this one, I'm gonna go with glue. Or with a foam tape, I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna put glue on that part. Oh, let me take this off. So I'm gonna go with glue on that part, and then I'm gonna put a foam tape in that part, so it kind of looks like it sits on top. It's very nice. Very cool. Just like that. And I think that looks really, really cool. I was thinking I did something before off camera. I cut off these things. I had this page from the paper pad, the same paper pad you find these papers, and I just cut off the wood pieces, the wooden pieces. So I was thinking like maybe I could just, you know, add like some pieces here just to blend everything together to hide this black. But I think I like it the way it is right now. I don't know if I really want to go and add these pieces. Yeah, I don't feel like it. I just like this gap here. But I had this idea before, but now with everything I put on, I just really like it. Now, what we're gonna do, before I clean and I show you the project and we wrap this video today, I'm going to use again the ink, and I'm going to go around and give just this nice black shadow around everything. I like to do that. I think that is going to give very nice and we can go here. Very nice. So very nice, very nice, very nice. A very beautiful project with Songs of the Seas, a beautiful collection of Farrell Taylor from Australia and me, collaboration together, also with Stamperia. So let me clean and we're back for the goodbyes and show you the project. And that's all, guys. So what about this beautiful layout? Art journal can be my thing. I know that I haven't done much, but at the end it's pretty much the same, just you don't go very dimensional, but still I like to use some of the things. I know you do, we kind of miss the stencil here. We don't see much. Doesn't matter, you don't know sometimes what you're gonna do. You still can see through here, but very nice, beautiful things. We did also the yellow paste. You get very nice result. Of course, me, I like to use my vintage patinas to make it a little bit more vintage. That's why it doesn't shine very much. So that's all. This is me again, Antonis, with Stamperia series on YouTube with me. Very beautiful, using the Song of the Seas collection, my collection with Farrell Taylor in collaboration with Stamperia. And that's all. Don't forget, guys, if you want to see more, follow me on Instagram. You can see now my Instagram on your screen. And I know you enjoyed, and see you very soon.